Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We've got to the live stuff, or the first bit of live stuff. This is interesting because this is pre-THRAK, but post-VROOOM. So it's the VROOOM tour, kind of, with the 2 weeks of rehearsal before this actually yielded some more new material. So by this point we've nearly got the whole of THRAK performed here. This is the album I'm reviewing, okay, which is Baboom live in Argentina, official bootleg. So the idea is, you know, it's just a DAT recording, I think, but because I think a professional bootlegging company actually sent someone to record the shows in Argentina, they thought, well, let's beat the bootleggers and release it in a much better form than a horrible audience recording. Apparently it was £28 for the audience recording. What's interesting though, of course, is that this is kind of defunct because Club 47, the final, actually wasn't the final club release because we've got live in Toronto now, but the final numbered club release, 47, actually released DVDs of an afternoon show and an evening show in Buenos Aires, which kind of replaces that, really. So this becomes different because you've got more stuff on here and it's visual as well. But right now, to keep things simple, I'm going to review these versions of whatever tracks they're from, whatever show it's from, whatever. That's what I'm going to review. So this is their return to active live duty after 10 years, now with the double trio, obviously. What's surprising to those that have already heard the double trio live but might not have heard this, I didn't hear this quite late. It's, you know, I remember seeing it in record shops and just for whatever reason never getting it. It's obviously been surpassed by some fantastic live stuff in 95, 96. But what's surprising about it is how lightweight the sound is in the playing compared to when it basically they got heavier and heavier and heavier was what really happened. So it's historically significant, really, more than being a vital purchase. Maybe that's harsh because, you know, the clarity of the sound is great. After the murky 80s-ness of Absent Lovers, the clarity of this one is ace, but it does mean it's wimpy sounding. It doesn't really jump out. Opening with VROOOM on disc 1, chugging along that great riff, obviously a deliberate reference to the fast section of Schizoid Man written by Ian MacDonald, but it isn't quite, not quite, it doesn't quite go there. The clarity of it is great, but obviously it's not really heavy like people know it in later performances. Then we have Frame by Frame, which is great in the 90s. I think it's better in the 90s, the clarity of it, and Baloo's voice. Adrian Ballou now has got much better technique as he's got older and it's less shouty. It's really good. And obviously the loud bit as well with the double trio it's suited to that kind of thing. Track 36, Sleep, Eat, Drink, Dream. Much like the album version, but you know, you can't have too many versions of it, particularly that crazy middle section. Track 4 is Red. And the thing about Red in the 90s is the guitars are wonderfully recorded and they're really, and obviously as that got bigger later into the 90s, that's just sounded great. But Bill Bruford's kind of a bit subdued actually. Doesn't really go for it like he does in the album, which is a shame. Interesting to see what other people think about that. But I think Bill was better in the 80s Red. But the guitars just sound great. Track 5, One Time, great song, better live than on the album, which we haven't got to yet. Tellingly survived all the way till 2003, or was brought back in 2003. Track 6 is Baboom, and it's this point where the concert gets going. And this standard structure of concert is essentially the same throughout the tours. They open with a few songs, and then we get to Baboom and THRAK. I really wish I'd seen the double trio. As we said, it must have sounded great. Actually, there, you know, this is quite a soft Baboom compared to what was coming. So there's more of an 80s-ness and almost a Waiting Man kind of world music thing in there somewhere, maybe. So that changed. Track 7 is THRAK. Nowhere near as heavy as it got, telling me. But some funny stuff in there, so that's great. Track 8 is the Improv, 2 sticks improvisation. It's nice they put this as a separate track, I think, and recognised it as a thing, because it's obviously, you know, Levin and Gunn get to do a duet. It's actually quite different to how it got later. More sort of hammer-onsy stuff, blah, blah, blah stuff. Less lyrical than it was later. There's even a little chord progression at one point, so that's interesting. So it's different to the other ones. Track 9 is Elephant Talk in the 90s, and it's fantastic in the 90s. Tends to be much more like the album version. I don't know, maybe Elephant Talk is more reliant on the shoutiness, so the 80s live stuff will do it better. Maybe, depends on what you feel like. Track 10, Indiscipline. Like Elephant Talk, it tended to be close to the album. I suppose this particular version, the heavy bit is surprisingly lightweight, and whether that's how it's recorded or how it's performed, I'm not entirely sure. Track 11 is VROOOM VROOOM, a new song. It got better, obviously, and again, the sound or the performance is lightweight. Slow tempo as well, it got a lot faster. obviously as they got better at playing it. So it's an interesting early version, if you like. Track 2, Mate Kudasai, lovely in the 90s, really good in the 90s. I like the Japan 95 version, but this is great as well. Better than in the 80s. The understated vocal, whether it's Baloo, he's got better technique, maybe he knows how to pace himself as well, but it suits the song, like something less over the top. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Mate Kudasai in the 90s, really good. Track 3 is the return of the talking drum. That's right, yeah, the talking drum. Obviously suited to the lineup, obviously. It's actually shorter than how they performed it in the 70s, because they played more songs, I suppose. Tony Levin has his funk fingers, which are basically, they're like pencils attached to his fingers, so he can go dun 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 dun, which is interesting. So that gives it a slightly different sound. It never really got to the heights of the 70s band doing it, although there aren't that many recordings of them doing it actually, but certainly the best of the 70s band doing it. So the Nightwatch version is better. This isn't as good as that, and it's possibly because it's shorter. There isn't time to stretch out, but you do get the Adrian Belew doing the synth guitar for the violin, and that's really good actually. I really like that. I like what he did with it. Then we have Larks Tongs. This got better, but the clarity of it is great. It's nice to hear it with lots of clarity. It's not like the thrashy 80s version anymore. At this point in the concert, or some of the concerts, they play Discipline, but it's not on here. So it is on here, but it's not on here. Never to be played again, I think. Yeah, and then track 5 is Heartbeat. They're still playing Heartbeat. There's a nice little synth guitar intro musical box effect. Faster tempo, the song as well. It's good. And track 6 is Sleepless. Sleepless. I was disappointed. I expected wow, double trio doing Sleepless. It's going to be and it feels a bit lightweight, and again maybe that's the way this one's recorded, and had they played it later on it would have been amazing. So yeah, it's not as good as the Absent Lovers version. Still a fantastic song though. So yeah. Then we got People, another new song. It's a great Adrian Belew song. Is it a King Crimson song? Not sure. Again, it got better. Then we got Baboom Reprieve. So we got a bit of stuff at the end which possibly wasn't played at the end of the concert actually. It's just another bit of Baboom and THRAK from somewhere else put at the end, judging by these shows here, maybe. So at some shows it was actually the VROOOM Coda was played at the end after Sleepless, interestingly. Or not, on the afternoon show. And yeah, more Baboom. Can't have too much Baboom. Rather cool thracking to close off the album. Really some sound effects to close off the album in a way, but yeah. Wow. Very cool. So yeah, interesting one. Live in Argentina, all that one. Really you want to get that one because it's DVDs. So you know, that's kind of defunct, but still, there it is. See you next week for THRAK.